We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Hello. This is Abe Williams, your host at Conspiracy Corner Podcast. Today is the 13th. Ooh, oh God. Ooh, it's not Friday though. I do have a Friday the 13th episode planned one of these days when I get around to it. I wanted to honestly just kind of keep this episode very loose. Loosey-goosey. Someone had mentioned in one of the comment sections of, hey, I think you would gain more subscribers, you would gain more followers if you scheduled a podcast at a scheduled time each week, maybe perhaps once a week. The thing is, I work a main job, a day job, as they would say, in the entertainment, slang. This is a passion project first and foremost. I've been on YouTube for 3 years. I've been doing this for a minute now. This is just kind of a childhood dream that I've been pursuing, and I'll do it till the day I die. I don't see me going anywhere. I don't do this for money. But my thing is why would I schedule once a week an actual time to do a podcast when I can do a podcast for you every day, if not every other day? To me, it's like I feel like I would be limiting myself doing that. That in YouTube has gone to straight hell, pardon my French. They don't let me live stream. I don't know, someone else brought up something, another thing, I think it's Instagram or something like that. You could do live podcasts and all that jazz, but I don't know. I'm a poor man. I don't have money for the equipment. I don't have money for the cameras. I don't have money for that stuff right now. I'm just doing this out of love, and I'm doing it out of passion because it's something that I enjoy. Because I like to read and I like to study the unknown, the paranormal, the conspiracies, the cryptozoology. I like to study the dark side of things. But I do it because it lets me indulge myself in these subjects, and it lets me hopefully teach you guys and maybe give you some hope, maybe give you guys some light within these dark times. And I have fun. This is fun for me. This is fun. But yeah, today we are going to be covering a subject. I spent the other day, it was my day off, but I spent the day off researching a spot for me and Sammy to go to. It's here in Louisville, Kentucky, and it actually got brought up to me because I was working. I'm a night stalker, and I was working, and I listen to podcasts, and or radio shows, which they're essentially the same thing. And I was listening to Art Bell, and a caller called in and said that he mentioned the Pope Lick monster, the Pope Lick Goatman. And he's like, yeah, it's in Louisville, Kentucky, and blah, 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 blah. And I was already, like, in my head, I was like, mental note, write that down mentally. So I came home, and I wrote it down, and I was like, dude, Louisville, Kentucky is only like an hour away from here. And I did some research, and it's something we can go to. I'm not going to get too into it because I'll ruin tonight's presentation, but I came home, I wrote it down, and then my next day off, I was like, all right, I need to sit down and do some homework for a podcast, and I'm going to actually go and visit this place and videotape it. So anyone who is listening on just audio only, as far as like Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, check out the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is under a different name because I don't hide under aliases. It's Abe Williams. The profile picture is a dream catcher that is sideways. And we do other stuff besides podcasts. We do cryptozoological hunts. We do ghost hunts. We do travel videos, hiking videos, cooking videos. We do all sorts of stuff. Taste testing videos. That way you can actually put a face to the voice too. But today we are going to be covering the Goatman of Pope Lick. And I researched for about 2 or 3 hours. I could not find a whole lot on this particular creature. I want to cover Goatman in general, because there's a ton of information on Goatman, but I wanted to focus this episode just on Goatman of Pope Lick. There's not a lot of info out there. I found several sheets of paper that I've printed out, and like digging around, this is as much as I could find without boring you to death and getting straight to the point. But worst case scenario, this will be a full episode, and I have some backlog ghost stories. So if you just enjoy podcasts in general and you want to stay tuned for the long haul, if you're driving or working or chilling, spark one up. If you're off the clock, sit back, buckle up, and enjoy. We are covering the Pope Lick Goatman. Now here's a little introduction into this creature. The Pope Lick monster, aka the Pope Lick Goatman, is a legendary part man, part goat, and part sheep creature reported to live beneath a railroad trestle bridge, if you actually want to go and find it, which we are going to find it. We live close enough. Over Pope Lick Creek. So that's where the name Pope Lick comes from. Lick, for some reason, in Kentucky, they're obsessed with the word lick on naming things. Like, there's a place called Bone Lick, there's a place called Paint Lick, and obviously Pope Lick. I have no idea why there's that obsession with that word lick, but they use it a lot here as far as naming towns and such. It's in the Fisherville neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky. Now here we get to the legend of the Goatman of Pope Lick. Numerous urban legends exist about the creature's origins and the methods it employs to claim its victims. According to some accounts, the creature uses either hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure trespassers onto the trestle to meet their death before an oncoming train. Other stories claim the monster jumps down from the trestle onto the roofs of cars passing beneath it. Yet other legends tell that it attacks its victims with a blood-stained axe, and that the very sight of the creature is so upsetting to those who see it while walking across the high trestle are driven to leap off. So it can hypnotize you. And by the way, there is a more famous Goatman of Maryland, which that is actually, as crazy as it sounds, very plausible that it exists. If you actually start delving deep into it, there was a government experimental lab in that area to where they were splicing humans and animals together and messing with genetics and basically playing God or lowercase g's roles as far as the Anunnaki. It gets crazy. And I'll do a whole episode on that. But yeah, it uses hypnosis, is what they're saying, either to draw people in to get hit by a train, or to draw them in and decapitate them with an axe, which is what the Goatman uses in the Maryland accounts too. There's a theory that it was getting transported from the Maryland area from a train, because it's on a railroad, that it broke out and overturned the train and escaped into the Kentucky area. It's a possibility. I keep my mind open to it, but as far as like local tourism and actually going out and visiting these places, first of all, ghost hunters and stuff, they kind of turn me off when they're like, oh, don't go to these places, don't go to these places, you know, it's too dangerous. But I'll go and I'll make money off of my YouTube channel or my sci-fi, you know, channel, whatever. Go to these places, just don't be dumb, just be respectful, be cool. I would like you guys to go to these places and visit these places. That's why I give you the addresses of these places. Go at your own risk. Have fun. You're a grown adult. This is an adult channel. Have fun. Just don't be stupid. Don't vandalize. Don't destroy. There you go. Problem solved. Other legends hold that the monster is a human-goat hybrid, and that it was a circus freak who vowed revenge after being mistreated. Which, honestly, if you start studying like the old circuses and stuff, there was a lot of craziness going on. Hey, if you're kind of blue-pilled, check out Water for Elephants. That kind of describes behind the scenes of what goes on in the circus industry. It's fucked up. I actually got to go to one of the last very few genuine circuses, because it was like literally the last year they were doing it, because they realized how screwed up it was, you know. Took my daughter to it. In one version, it is said the monster escaped after a train after the train derailed on the trestle. Another version, commonly told by locals of the area, claims that the monster is really the twisted, reincarnated form of a farmer who sacrificed goats in exchange for satanic powers. Now, this one, me and my wife actually were on the same wavelength. We both kind of felt that we could kind of see that in Kentucky, that because farmers in Kentucky, their life depends on what grows and the animals they have. That is their livelihood. So I could see a farmer getting desperate enough to sell his soul, sacrificing goats to become successful and obtain the American dream. I could see that happening in these southern areas such as Kentucky, man. And it gets weird out here, you know? It gets weird out here, dude. I could totally see that. The legends have turned the area into a site for legend tripping. There have been a number of deaths and accidents at the trestle since its construction, despite the presence of an 8-foot fence to keep thrill seekers out. There is a common misconception that the trestle is abandoned and no longer used. In reality, the bridge carries a major rail artery into Louisville. By the way, it's spelled Louisville, but here in Kentucky we call it Louisville. Heavy freight trains cross the bridge several times daily, so it's easy for someone to get caught atop it while an oncoming train barrels down on them. Norfolk Southern Railway urged citizens not to climb the trestles, saying if caught, they would be arrested, which I don't blame them. Now, the monster was the subject of a 1988 film by Louisville filmmaker Ron Schildknecht called The Legend of the Pope Lick Monster. The 16-minute, $6,000 film premiered on December 29, 1988, at the Uptown Theater. Most of the film was shot at Pope Lick Trestle, but scenes showing the characters up on the trestle were shot at another, safer location. Norfolk Southern Railway officials were very upset about the film, as they thought it would encourage teenagers to visit the trestles. They found one scene in particular dangerous, misleading in the scene. The main character, a high school student, narrowly escapes an approaching train by hanging off the side of the trestle. In reality, few people who would have the strength to hang on for 5 to 7 minutes it takes for a long train to clear the 772-foot trestle. In addition, the vibrations from the train are so strong that the ground beneath the trestle shakes as the train passes. Because the railroad officials were worried that the film would add to the death toll, Norfolk Southern issued a statement, read at the premiere, which warned of the trestle's dangers and informed the audience that anyone caught on the trestle could be prosecuted for trespassing. By the way, I've already said this is an adult channel, so I can be quite frank to you. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I think that about sums it up. Several people had died on or near the train trestle at Pope Creek in pursuit of the Pope Lick monster legend. On April 23, 2016, a 26-year-old tourist from Ohio died after being hit by a train while searching for the monster. Her boyfriend survived by hanging on the side of the trestle. In 1994, a man was killed by a train after his ATV overturned on the trestle, trapping him on the track. In 2000, a 19-year-old fell to his death after encountering a train. On May 26, 2019, last year, Savannah Bright, she was 15 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene after she and another teenage girl were on the train tracks near the Pope Lick trestle. Bright's unidentified companion was taken to University of Louisville Hospital. So now we get into an article of that last victim. And this is by Ed Maza. Woman killed while searching for a mysterious Goatman, quote-unquote, creature in Louisville, Kentucky. An Ohio woman was struck and killed by a train on Saturday night while attempting to investigate the urban legend of a quote-unquote Goatman in Louisville, Kentucky. Rockwell Bain, 26, was walking with her boyfriend on a train trestle where the creature was supposed to appear. Instead of a Goatman, however, they encountered a Norfolk Southern train approaching at 32 miles per hour. the Courier-Journal reported. The train sounded its horn, and Bain's boyfriend avoided the collision by dangling from the edge of the trestle. She was hit by the train and fell 80 feet to the ground, the paper reported. The pair had planned to take a ghost tour that evening, but decided to walk across the trestle first to find the Goatman. CBS affiliate WLKY reported, "The myth, you have to walk on the bridge to see the Goatman." Oh, the myth is you have to walk on the bridge to see the Goatman. Local resident Ron Crouch told WHAS 11, the local ABC station. Crouch said he never seen any sign of the supposed creature, also known as the Pope Lick Monster, and named for the nearby Pope Lick Creek. "The only thing I see is a few deer every once in a while," he told the station. "I wouldn't confuse those with a goat." There were signs posted that warned people not to climb the trestle, but some do anyway. Wave, which that's on antenna television, which I have hooked up. The local NBC station, that's one of our channels though, is Wave, reported that some people mistakenly believe the track is no longer operational. Others know, but opt to take the risk. Quote, "When you're young, you think you live forever. It's a euphoria. Or they think they can outrun the train," local resident Denise Harris told Wave. "That's a long way to run, and you can't run that fast." But that's all I could find on the Pope Lick Goatman. Like I said, stay tuned because we have another story for you. But yeah, we're definitely gonna check it out, take some pictures, we're gonna film. Like we do whenever we do ghost hunting or any other cryptozoological videos. We have fun, we enjoy our life. And I encourage you guys to do so also. I know we're going through a pandemic. Ooh. Yeah, I don't believe that shit. Go out, go have fun. Fresh air and sunshine will kill that fake virus that's going on. I promise you that. And here's a little double feature special for you. The Tramping Feet is the name of this story. It's a ghost story. It's the Gaffos House, Portsmouth, Virginia. The grizzled old sea captain didn't know when he had prayed last. It must have been many years ago, but it hadn't saved her. His lovely Maureen had died anyway. She had never been a strong one, and when the baby was born and there were complications, she was gone in a day or two. But behind her she left a treasure, tiny Kathy. Fortunately, his mother had stepped in and taken care of the infant. It was hard to realize that Kathy was now a young girl. For the past 2 years since his mother's passing, she had made a home for him. Now he was about to lose her too. "God, don't let the girl die. I know I could have been a better man. And I don't deserve her. I never have talked much to you. Maybe, I don't know how. But I'm trying, Lord." On he went up to the steps of the 4th-story house that had been turned into a hospital for Portsmouth yellow fever victims. The house was filled with patients, and bed had even been placed in the halls. Kathy was on the 4th floor, and that day she was tossing and turning so much that it made tears run down the old captain's weather-beaten cheeks just to watch her. He cradled her frail body in his arms, pleading, "I will take you to Richmond and buy you such lovely clothes, everything you want. Look at me. Speak to me. Kathy, you must get well. You must," he cried out. But like many other poor souls who were brought to the hospital, turning and tossing in the throes of the virulent yellow fever, Kathy did not get well. A Portsmouth gentleman who swears that his sea-going grandfather knew the captain says the captain stayed out at sea as much as he could after Kathy's death. When he returned for brief shore stays, his solitary figure could be seen striding along in front of homes a few blocks from the water. There he often paused to stare up at the fourth-floor windows of the house at 218 Glasgow Street. How could so much happen to this cheerful-looking house? It is yellow and with blue shutters, which is an important note because blue shutters usually repel spiritual energy, repel ghosts. And its interior is bright with shades of red, green, and gold. But the house did not always look this attractive. When Mary Alice and George Gaffos were first married, they moved into a ground-floor apartment here, as the old house was then divided into apartments. A full English basement home, it rises 4 stories above ground. The group soon began to dream of buying and restoring it, despite its unhappy history and their modest income. A few years later, however, they did buy and remodel it. Their dream had come true, but it was not all that they had expected. Or should we say that the house contained more than they had expected and ever could have believed? The Gaffoses are a pleasant, attractive couple. Mary Alice tells the story. From the first few weeks we lived there, strange things happened. The children noticed it first. Andrea would call us time after time, telling us that she had heard heavy feet going up the stairs. The girls slept on the 3rd floor and were very frightened there for a while. One night Andrea called and I ran up to her room. Quote, "It was going up the stairs again tonight, Mother," unquote, she said. I could hear the footsteps tramping up each tread, like someone with boots on, and I wondered if those feet were going to stop at the top of the stairs on my floor. I just held my breath. She threw her arms around my neck and hung on to me for dear life. Then our older girl, Sabrina, chimed in. They never stop, though. They go right up to the 4th floor, Mother, and sometimes we can hear them in the attic overhead. George and I got so frustrated for a while, we really didn't know how to handle it, for we thought the children were just hearing old house noises, creaks, and such. I made up all sorts of funny and comforting stories about the footsteps on the stairs to take their fear away. After a while, they said they weren't afraid anymore. One winter evening, about a year later, my husband and I were sitting in front of the fire, working a jigsaw puzzle. We enjoy doing them, and sometimes sit up quite late doing them. Which actually, me and Sammy, man, we actually got addicted to jigsaw puzzles for a minute. And I don't know, I'm not trying to sound like an old geezer or nothing, but you should do it with your spouse. I don't know, it's like good bonding time and very therapeutic for both parties, and I don't know. I've never had a bad experience doing a jigsaw puzzle with my wife. They're fun. They're possible. We can only do up to like 1,000 pieces. Like anything past 1,000 pieces we struggle with, but we can do like 1,000 and under, you know. But try it out. It's good bonding time with your spouse. But honestly too, like make a little trophy out of it. Like I've seen people actually like frame them and stuff and put it in a frame, put it up on your wall, and when you and your wife, you know, walk past it, you can snuggle up to her, hug her and be like, look, we made that, It's just, I don't know. I don't think people love and show affection to each other as much as they should. Maybe I'm just a snuggle bunny, but I don't know. I'm trying to give you some relationship advice that gives me and my wife a positive marriage. Things that maybe other people should try out. Don't be shy. They don't bite. And if they bite, it might be a good thing. Alright, I remember that I had just found a piece we had been looking for all evening and was putting it in the right place when BAM! The front door slammed so hard that we both nearly jumped out of our chairs. We sat looking at each other, frozen, waiting to see what would happen next. Then came a series of thuds that sounded like heavy boots going up the stairs, step by step. We heard them reach the top step of the first floor, then went on. When they got to the second floor, George was out of his chair. I'm going up there, Mary Alice, he said. The steps seemed to pause at the third floor landing. Then we heard them again. Now he, if it were a man, was on his way up to the fourth floor. I was so relieved that he passed the third floor until we heard the attic door at the top of the stairs open and slam hard as it shut. George's face was white as he ran out into the hall and up the stairs, with me close behind him. We were very much afraid, and we both wondered what we were going to find in the attic. At the third floor, I stopped and switched up the lights upstairs, and when we reached the fourth floor landing, no light at all could be seen under the door. I'm not going into a completely dark room. Stay right here, said George. I'll get the flashlight and be back in a second. It seemed as if he were gone forever, but it probably wasn't over a minute or two until he returned. Get behind me, he whispered. And I did. He threw open the door and swung the powerful flashlight from one end of the room to the other. The attic was empty. With relief, we both just collapsed into each other's arms. Nothing happened for about a month after that. Then one night, when George was working on the third floor on something he had brought home from the office and I was reading to Sabrina, he called downstairs. What are the girls doing playing in the attic this late? What do you mean? I hear them walking all over the place up there. You couldn't. Sabrina is down here with me, and Andrea is sleeping in her bedroom. I heard George go into Andrea's room, and in a few minutes he came downstairs carrying the sleeping child in his arms. I want you all to get out of this house immediately. There is someone upstairs. Go across the street, and if you hear a gunshot, call the police. He searched the attic, looked under the beds, and opened closet doors on every floor of the house. But like the night that the two of us had gone up to the attic, there was nothing to be found. At least nothing that anyone could see. My mother probably had one of the strangest experiences of all. We were going on a business trip, and she volunteered to spend the night with the girls. She slept in our room, which is right between the girls' bedrooms. Just as it does at home, her little dog slept on a pillow beside the bed. In the middle of the night, my mother awoke to a thump, thump, thump. First thing she thought about was the ghost. She determined that she wasn't frightened and that she was going to see if anything was there. Thinking it might be her dog, she said, Susie, now you get right back on that pillow. She reached over and found the dog was there. Then she exclaimed out aloud to herself, "My Lord, it's the ghost!" Her finger flipped the light switch, and when the light went on, she saw her bedroom slippers being tossed into the air, up and down, up and down, up and down. To her, the bizarre and frightening spectacle seemed to last forever, but it was probably only a few seconds. She didn't get to go to sleep until after the sun came up. Mary Alice Gaffos and her family had lived at 218 Glasgow now for a quarter of a century. Sometimes months go by and nothing happens. Then we may see our dog looking as if he was ready to spring into a space, barking his head off as he faces an empty corner in the front hall. When that happens, we know the captain is back. If the daughter of the sea captain really did die in the house during the yellow fever epidemic, surely broke the old man's heart. Does his love for her still go on in some timeless dimension? Does it sometimes bring him back?
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.